Hello everyone, my name's Tony Gudo. This is my grandson, Taylor Ulmer, aka Chip. And we're starting our new podcast. It's called Look It Up. And what we do is we look up things when we need to. But anyway, it's a podcast regarding sports. We're going to talk about the Saints. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to talk about LSU and college football. We're also going to sprinkle in some NBA later when the season gets started. We're also going to talk about college baseball when LSU gets started. And we may sprinkle in some UFC stuff in between each week. Our podcast is probably going to run every week or so is what we're going to do. But just to start off, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been retired a few years now, like 4 years. Football has been a passion to me. I've been following football for probably 50 years now, pretty close, if not longer. Started with the Saints back when Billy Kilmer was quarterback, before even Archie Manning got here. Also, LSU, been watching LSU since back in the early 70s. So I do watch a lot of NFL, a lot of college football. Of course, back in those days, you wasn't a whole lot to see. You only could see a few games. Today, you can pretty much watch any game you want, depending on where you go out and look for it. So my experience has also been in picking games, in people wagering on football, wagering on basketball, wagering on anything. You know, my biggest thing there is when you wager, make sure you wager what you can afford to lose. If you can't afford to lose it, don't wager. Over the years, I've been pretty good at it. I've been picking about 60 to 68%, depending on what year and what time you're looking at. Well, anytime you're over 65, you're doing good. Even over 60, you're doing good because you're winning enough money to keep you going. So that's pretty much my history. As you can tell, I'm a Saints fan. I'm also an LSU fan. You can look around and see our LSU posters, Saints posters. Fortunately, me and my wife have been able to attend the national championship games. We attended every one except the 58. We've been to all the others. They were all very fun, and we were successful in them. I'm going to let Taylor talk to you a little bit about where he comes from.
Hello everyone, I am Chip Ulmer, aka his grandson, and we created this podcast because we've been talking about this for a minute because we love to bicker and argue about our opinions in sports, and we just love sports. And me, I come from, my dad played baseball, football, basketball, everything. He played like 5 sports for varsity, and my mom was a pretty good athlete as well. So I grew up from athletes, and I play basketball, I play football, and I'm just a huge fan of watching sports such as basketball, football, baseball. So yeah, be aware, this podcast will have a lot of different opinions. So, off to you.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit right now about the Saints and LSU, just briefly, and then we're going to get into some other stuff. We're mainly going to talk about the NFL to begin with, then we'll look at the top 25 in college football. LSU looking real good. I think they're going to have a hell of a good season. We don't know how many games they're going to win. It's kind of hard to predict right now. The tough game is going to be the opening against Clemson. They've had issues with the opening game over the last few years. But I think they're really prepared. Their defense is very good. Their defense is going to be almost twice as good as they've been the last couple of years. Blake Baker has done a hell of a job. They brought in several players on NIL and several people they brought in from high schools. So they've built a good team. The only weakness probably they have right now is maybe the offensive line, because they really haven't named all the starters yet. They're looking at a lot of players, but it may take a little while for them to gel. But I think they can score 30-plus points a game. And if they can do that, the defense should be able to hold people below that, is what I think.
Yes.
Regarding the Saints, hard to tell. Watched the preseason game last week. Didn't look that good. Team they looked kind of out of sorts in some ways. They looked like they were not on the same page in a lot of cases. Quarterbacks is what they're trying to decide on who they're going to play. I think Sean Chuck looked the best out of the all
Yes,
three
he
quarterbacks
did.
last
He
week.
very did. He looked the best.
He looked a lot better. So Rattler, we'll see. I don't know. Rattler's gotten better, but I think in the past week, from what I understand, Chuck has done the best over the last few days in practice in California
Training camp, yeah.
and with Rams. They played the Rams. They practiced with the Rams yesterday, and they're flying back. I think today. They're going to play the Jaguars this coming Sunday, and I believe Chuck is going to be the starter in that game. And of course, the others will probably get a chance to come in. But I think they need to name a starter pretty soon. They can't wait too long, because when you get to this part of the season, you've got to have things kind of settled so the rest of the team knows who's in charge, right?
Yeah, we can't have people on the team like thinking, changing who they think is the captain. They'd be like, "Oh, he's my captain," and then the other guy gets to start, and they're like, "Oh, I don't really mess with this guy," you know?
Yeah. And of course, the name of the thing that we named it, look it up. The reason we did that is over the years, we always talk about the NBA football, and we talk about the past, history, what happens here, what happens there. And it seems like my grandson here always knows a little bit more than what we know, mainly because I think he studies a lot, he reads a lot, and he goes back into all those records. So we always say, look it up, Chael. So that's what we're going to be, that's what we call it, look it up. Right now, we're going to look at we're going to start this week with the NFL. We're going to look at the AFC, the American Conference. And then next week we'll do our next one. We're going to take a look at the NFC. But right now, let's look at the AFC and look at each division and see how we feel things are going to go. We'll start off with the AFC East. That division is fairly weak except for one team. Buffalo is probably the best team in that division. The Jets are the Jets. I mean, they've got a new coach. They've added a few more players here and there. But I still think the Jets are a long way from where they need to be.
Yep.
And I don't see them being that good this year. Same thing with New England. I think they've done a good job bringing in their coach. They got a nice, good players. I like May. It looks real good at quarterback. But they're still a ways away from getting into the playoffs, I think. And Miami, I don't see, they have a lot of issues there. They still are their old coach, but looks to me like they may change coaches in the next year, and he has a great year this year. What do you think, Chael? What do you think about the AFC?
Yes. It's, unless Buffalo gets a lot of injuries, I think they are in control of that division throughout the whole season.
Yeah. And let's move on to the AFC South, which contains Houston, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Same thing here. I think Houston's kind of the leader in that division.
Yeah.
Indy, they still kind of trying to decide who their quarterback is. Looks like Daniel Jones may win that start, but we'll have to wait and see. Jacksonville, they're kind of back and rebuilding again. They added a lot of good players. I think they're going to be competitive this year, but not good enough. I don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs. And Tennessee's the same way. They added a quarterback, but just the quarterback don't help. And I don't think he has a lot of receivers in that area.
Yeah, they signed maybe 2 wide receivers in the offseason, and
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett is probably their top receiver.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't have a lot of talent. They have some talent, but they don't have a lot of talent in that wide receiver room.
Yeah. So it looks to me like Houston's going to probably win that division.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty easily. I don't think they're going to lose that. You move it on to the AFC West, and that's going to be a very competitive situation out west.
Competitive.
I mean,
So
Kansas City's coming back, but Kansas City, they were there in the Super Bowl last year, but they got
didn't look good.
dominated. They got dominated by Philly.
So everybody knows these past 5-10 years where Kansas City's the only team that they talk about in the AFC West. But those days are over.
Yeah,
Denver is a top contender. They made it to the wild card last year. Who else?
The Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers. They made the playoffs last year, even though they had that heartbreaking loss to the Texans in the wild card.
And Las Vegas.
Las Vegas
is bringing in.
They're not going to be good, but they're going to be better.
Yeah, Las Vegas will be competitive, and they will give them some tough games. Bringing in Pete Carroll and bringing in the quarterback
Geno Smith.
I think they're going to be very
And
competitive.
drafting Ashton Genty from Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State running back was, I thought was going to win the Heisman. He was close. I think he ended up second or third.
Second, yeah.
Second, yeah. I mean, that guy's going to make a difference, I think, in the NFL.
Agree.
But that division's going to be tough to call. I personally think the Chargers are probably going to be there at the top. But the last few days, I've heard they've had some offensive line issues. So I'm not sure if that's going to carry on through the season or what. But Harbaugh usually does a decent job of getting that team together. They got a good quarterback with Herbert. Denver's really been good. Sean Payton has really proved a lot to me. I thought he was good with New Orleans. I didn't know if it was him or Breeze who was the main guy there. But it looks like it was Payton because he turned Denver around pretty quick. Made the playoffs last year. I personally think the Chargers are probably going to win that division.
I disagree with you. I believe that I don't really love Bo Nix, but I think he carries them to the division next year. I mean, this upcoming year. Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because they got Pat Surtain on the corner. They got Bo Nix at quarterback. They got bunch of good wide receivers. Sean Payton, one of the all-time great coaches. So yeah, I have Denver winning this division.
Well, let's move on to the AFC North, and that's going to be very competitive too.
Yep.
Baltimore, of course, is the leading candidate there. More than likely going to win the division, but they got to face Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Cleveland. Pittsburgh is going to be good, I think. Aaron Rodgers is finally signed over there. I'm not sure if he's going to be as good as he's been over the years, but he's there, and they got a decent squad around him. They added DJ Metcalf. They added the guy from Philly.
Darius Slay. They signed Darius Slay.
Yeah,
and Jalen Ramsey from Miami. They got him too. So they locking up their defense as well. So.
And you know Pittsburgh always wins 10, 11.
Mike Tomlin does not have a losing season as an NFL head coach.
When he goes, they make the playoffs.
They make the playoffs, but they get their problems when they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they haven't won a playoff game in over 11 years.
So that's why they're hoping that the changes they made will make them that much better. Cincinnati, they've got the team. Cincinnati's got the team. Now, hopefully the new defensive coordinator can make a difference over there because they kept pretty much all the same players on defense. If you look at that team, all the players are still there. So I believe they thought probably the defensive coordinator had lost touch, and they changed. Now they brought the guy in from Notre Dame. He's the defensive coordinator now. Joe Burrow and Chase, they're good. I mean, they're going to have a good team. The problem is, the last few years, they always start off slow. They need to start off fast, and if they do that, they got a chance of winning the division. When you look across the board, Cleveland made a bunch of changes, but I don't think they even know what they're going to do at quarterback. Looks like they're going to start Joe Flacco to begin with.
Yeah, it looks like that.
And they got a few rookies.
Pickett ain't got no starts yet. Ain't got no snaps yet. I don't think even at practice he got any snaps.
He got hurt. I think he's got some kind of injury.
Shador, he looked pretty good in the preseason game against Carolina, but hey, it's just a preseason, so we don't know. And supposedly he got this oblique injury that he just suffered at practice this week.
Yeah. So when you look across the board at the AFC and try to make the predictions, I believe what's going to happen is I think Buffalo's going to win the division in their area. Houston's going to win the South, and I believe the Chargers, I believe the Chargers are going to win the West, and Baltimore is going to win the North. Then you add two wild cards. I'd say it's probably going to be KC or Denver or Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. One of those four teams, two of those.
I truly believe Cincinnati and Pittsburgh have the team to make the playoffs, at least the wild card.
And if you're going to make a prediction, my prediction is Baltimore and Buffalo will be in the AFC Championship. Those two teams look heads above everybody else. You feel the same way?
Yeah, but I haven't seen Lamar Jackson prove himself in the playoffs yet. So, we will see this season. I do believe Baltimore makes the Super Bowl this year, but I haven't seen that it factor in the playoffs from from Lamar Jackson. Now, we've seen it a little bit from Josh Allen in the wild card last year and the divisional game last year. But he just can't deliver in those games, those tough, close games against teams like KC.
Yeah. And, KC is not going to be the team they have been. They were exposed quite a bit in the Super Bowl by Philadelphia. And I just don't think KC is going to be as good as they used to be. And now they got competition. Used to, they were the only team in the West that could compete for for many years. Now I think they're going to have a hard time. Even last year, getting to the Super Bowl, they lost. There's like 4 or 5 games they probably should have lost. And they won by
the Bengals game
very close game.
Fake PI should not have been called. I think that Falcons game, there was a PI that they should have called. Raiders fumbled.
Yeah.
They doinked the field goal in against the Chargers. So, there's a bunch of little games where they're just so lucky that they get those wins. But it just looks like they always, for some reason, get that luck at the end of the game for some reason.
Yeah. Well, they showed their weaknesses against Philadelphia. The Eagles exposed them on national TV. So everyone was, I think a lot of people were surprised. I thought Philly was going to win the game outright. I didn't know they were going to do as good as
I thought it was going to be a close game.
Yeah.
But.
Okay, so now we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to college football.
Yes.
They just recently came out with the AP Top 25 poll. And, of course, they got Texas at the top, which is everybody pretty much expected that was going to happen. And they got Penn State at 2 and Ohio State at 3. And, Penn State's probably going to be a damn good football team. They've had a good team already. They got a good offense. Their defense is very good, but they just added the Ohio State defensive coordinator, came from Ohio State, and he's now in Penn State.
Yep.
So that's going to make a difference and get Penn State to that competitive level that they could possibly win the Big Ten. I think they got a good chance of winning the Big Ten. The rest of them, top 10 is Clemson at 4.
Yep.
Georgia at 5. Notre Dame at 6. Oregon at 7. Alabama at 8. LSU at 9. And the Miami Hurricanes at 10.
Yep.
That's the top 10.
I don't agree with Michigan making 14. And those who don't know, I forget his name. The current head coach for Michigan just got suspended for sign stealing last year again.
Yeah.
Like Harbaugh did 2 years ago.
Yeah, the whole college, Michigan got penalized. It's going to be, I think, a $20 million penalty. And they're also charging something with the coach. But
he got a 3-week suspension.
Yeah, Michigan's going to be kind of weak. And their team might be decent this year, but
I don't agree with them making.
They're going to be disqualified, I think, to make some of the stuff. And I don't know that they may change coaches too. I don't know if that coach is going to hang in there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens over there. They got a few other teams in here that kind of surprised me. Illinois at 12. That's a little high, I think. But Illinois was a decent team last year. They came out of nowhere and played very good football.
Arizona State went deep into the playoffs last year. That surprised me. So I agree with them at 11.
Yeah, that's pretty good for them.
But Miami above them, and they didn't even make the playoff last year. I don't agree with that.
No, I think Miami is going to be, every year, the top 10. There's always 1 or 2 teams, usually at least one every year, that is not in the top 25 at the end of the season. One of those top 10. If you look at the top 10 now, I think it's Miami and possibly Notre Dame. Miami, I think they took a chance bringing in a quarterback from Georgia. He was not that impressive in Georgia. I thought he made a lot of mistakes when you watch the games. They won a lot of games, but mainly their defense. Georgia's defense has just been top-notch for several years now. So I think Miami made a mistake, and I don't think they're going to be that successful in the ACC this year. Notre Dame's kind of the same way. Notre Dame went all the way to the championship, I guess, last year, but
national championship, yes.
But they,
I don't think
they're that good either. I don't think their schedule is going to be tough. They play a lot of Big Ten teams. They play a lot of tough. They always play a lot of tough teams. But I just don't think Notre Dame and Miami. If I was a betting man, and I am, I would say Miami will not be in the top 10, maybe not in the top 25 by the end of the year.
I don't believe Florida does either.
Yeah, they got Florida at 15. I'm not that. I think maybe.
Now let's look at
because of their quarterback.
let's look at their schedule. So
yeah,
we're
Florida
gonna
got a
look
tough
it up.
schedule.
Look it up.
Look it up. They do have a tough schedule. Now, I think they have the toughest schedule in the country from what I've read. So I don't know. They basing everything on DJ Langley being this stupid
DJ Lagway, yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
I'm not sure how good he is. You know.
Oh, they got an easy schedule until at least the last
Who they playing?
last few
Run
weeks
them
of the
off real
season.
quick.
So for week 1, they will play Long Island. They probably win that one.
Move
Week
on.
2, they play USF. That's probably a win. Week 3, they play LSU. LSU wins that one.
Yeah,
Week
LSU
4, they got Miami. They probably win that one. Then they got their bye week in week 5. Then we got Texas. They gonna lose that one.
Mhm.
Then they got Texas A&M. They probably win that one.
I don't know. A&M's a pretty good team.
Oh, I haven't seen.
Yeah.
They probably are. And then we got Mississippi State.
They won that one.
Mississippi State's a little sneaky team sometimes, so we don't know. But it's the SEC, so you never know. Then they got another bye week after that. Then they play Georgia, Jacksonville, and then they play Kentucky. Then they play Ole Miss, then Tennessee, then Florida State.
Yeah, it's
So,
gonna be hard. It's gonna
They
be
got
hard.
a pretty tough schedule.
It's gonna be hard for them to win more than 8.
Yeah.
I think they can win 8, but other than 8, I don't see how they can win because they got a tough schedule against a pretty tough team.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I think it's the toughest in the country. The other people in the top 25 that came out last year, I kind of Iowa State
Yeah.
looked real good. Indiana, they came in, they had a hell of a season last year. And they ranked
Even though they
number
lost
20.
in the first round of the playoff to Notre Dame.
Yeah, and Boise State at number 25, I think that's good. I think Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Tennessee. Tennessee 24. I don't know how good Tennessee's going to be. I think that's kind of off, but they're pretty low. Oregon number 7. Oregon should be real good, and they got the Carolina Gamecocks at 13. Mainly, I believe because of their quarterback.
Yeah, South Carolina's quarterback's going to be good this year, I think.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good the last.
Then
few
they
years.
got SMU at 16. They had a pretty sleeper year last year. They did pretty good, even though the last, I think, 10, 15 years haven't been the best. Last year they showed up, and made the playoff. And then they got Kent State. No, not Kent State. Kansas State at 17. Think they might be pretty good because I like their quarterback. He's pretty good.
And Ole Miss, they got Ole Miss at 21. Ole Miss really missed a chance last year
Yeah.
by losing to LSU. But they were stacked last year.
My
They
real
should've
college
did
football
good.
fans know Ole Miss can't make their way to Atlanta to save their life.
They don't know. They've never driven there.
They don't know their way. They don't know their way to Atlanta, man.
But they've been good. I mean, and I know they lost a lot of players, but from what I understand, they brought a lot of people in from the NIL. So we're gonna find out. I guess they're gonna be kind of like LSU. They brought in a lot of people. So we'll see what happens. The other thing at LSU is we got Nussmeier. That makes a difference. That guy's got experience, and
He's the
there's
top.
not a whole lot of experienced quarterbacks.
He's
in
the
SEC.
he's top 3 in the betting for Heisman right now.
Yeah, it's him and the guy from South Carolina
And Arch Manning.
and Arch Manning. Arch Manning, we don't know. We haven't seen him. He's
Uh,
only played a few plays.
he took like
here and
5
there.
snaps last year.
But
they
if he's as
got
good
him.
as his uncles, then he's gonna be good. Everybody
And
says
his
he's better.
grandpa.
Yeah.
If
And
they're
his
if
grandpa.
he's as good or better than his uncles and grandpa, then they will have proven me wrong.
And then Texas will win the national championship if that happens.
Yes, if that happens.
Right? Who's going to make the national championship? I don't know. I think Texas got a good chance. I think
I don't.
Penn State got a good chance. I think LSU got a good chance.
Yeah, we have a good chance,
You
but
can't knock Georgia and Alabama out, but they always seem to be there, Dan. But we'll talk about this as the time goes by.
yeah, we'll talk about this every week. So there'll be more and more conversations and arguments, and opinions and
So here, we're going to end up closing out now on our podcast.
yeah.
Next week, we'll talk a little bit more about college football. We also will talk about the NFC, tell you what we think about each division, talk more about the Saints. We'll have another preseason game under the belt, so we'll know a little bit more about what's going on there with the quarterback. And to end, we're going to let Chael make a few comments about the UFC. He likes the UFC. They got their fights coming on tomorrow night. Pretty good fights, I think.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, for my UFC fans out there, for your predictions, you leave. If you're watching this on YouTube, or Facebook, you can leave your predictions on who wins between Dricus du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev in the comment section. We will have that turned on. You leave your predictions in there, and I'm going to write it down, and then we're going to bring it up in the next episode after. So,
in closing, I just want to say we are going to be, we're going to be closing out right now on this podcast. We'll be doing another one next week. You can find us on YouTube and Look It Up. It'll be the name of our podcast. On Facebook, you'll be in my Facebook account under Tony Goudeau, Goudeau. I'll be promoting it through there. And we have several other ways that we'll be promoting it. It's going to be a good podcast, I believe. We're also going to have guests along the way. We're going to add some guests that support different teams or different sports and do some things like that, either in person or by phone, either way. So thank y'all for watching, and go Saints, go LSU. And what?
Look it up! Okay, everybody, and that's it for the first episode of the Look It Up podcast. Thanks for watching!